everybody. Coming to you live from the North American Bitcoin Conference. This place is insanely rocking. The energy is amazing in this room. I've been having some of the most amazing conversations and learning a ton. And I want to bring this information to, again, the people who have been overwhelmed by what this is all about. What is this technology and how it's going to change the way we work and live and connect with each other. And so I'm here with Sterlin, and he's a communications ambassador for Bitcoin.com, which is an amazing portal for education. Okay, so really quickly, Sterlin, thank you so much. Just talk to me a little bit about the birth of Bitcoin.com. Starting with its founder Roger Veer and his vision for this and why it was important for him to create this.
Yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know, Roger Veer, our CEO of the company, he was one of the very first Bitcoin investors, one of the very first Bitcoin angel investors, actually, who's helped open some of the most, or fund some of the earliest startups in terms of the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency ecosystem in space. So Roger, early on, was able to get a hold of the domain name for Bitcoin.com.
When did he buy this domain?
The domain was bought around 2014-ish. Don't quote me on the exact date, but he did purchase it. And at first, when he got a hold of the domain, he actually leased it out to a couple of companies. But the leasing process and the companies he leased it out to didn't work out in the long run, and there were some issues with that. And so he took back the domain name in its entirety, and he finally decided just to build up a company on his own around it. And for anybody who's unfamiliar, Roger has already been a successful entrepreneur before Bitcoin even came along. He has his own business called Memory Dealers, which is a computer/technology company that deals in trading RAM and other pieces of computer hardware to people. So he was already successful. So he decided to kick off Bitcoin.com and expand the company and make it the great portal that it is today for education, for cryptocurrency news, for spreading the good gospel of Bitcoin Cash, which is a cryptocurrency technology that's essentially an upgrade of the old Bitcoin technology. Of course, we can talk more a little bit about that here in a bit. But that's essentially the early history of Bitcoin. And I will point something out. A lot of people get confused when they hear Bitcoin.com. They think that we are like the Bitcoin, right? That we mint Bitcoin, or that we create the cryptocurrency, right? So I want to be very clear that we are just the portal. We have the brand name Bitcoin.com based on that domain name, but really we're just a bunch of guys who like Bitcoin and like cryptocurrency. Now, to clarify for people, Bitcoin is just a decentralized currency. It's sort of like gold, right? If somebody owns the domain name gold.com, they don't own all gold. Gold is everywhere, mined everywhere, and is accessible in a lot of different places. So the same thing is true about Bitcoin. We don't have the domain name Bitcoin.com, but we don't mint or create Bitcoin. Bitcoin is totally decentralized. Anybody can use it. Anybody can talk about it. We're just very strong advocates and prophets for this cryptocurrency/Bitcoin revolution that we're all a part of right now.
Why are you a prophet?
So, a little background on the history of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. A lot of people are confused about what this technology is actually for. You hear about Bitcoin in the news in association to its price point right now. Bitcoin is skyrocketing. It's going to the moon. Everybody in the space says win moon. So the value is really cool. There's a ton of crypto millionaires and billionaires now, and that's absolutely great. But we all have to remember the purpose of this technology was to free us from this problem that we have as a society, and that's the problem of having to trust in banks, to trust in centralized authorities, and to trust in people to maintain our money for us. And this is what banks have done. This is what governments have done. Governments have done this through the process of centralized banking, minting money, and controlling that money for society. So Bitcoin and cryptocurrency has effectively freed us from that trap of having to trust these third parties. With Bitcoin, you keep your money to yourself and you can trade it. Like from me to you, I can trade it in a peer-to-peer fashion without any kind of problems. So these early people who sort of had a vision for cryptocurrency before it was created were called cyperpunx. And this movement they had in California and the San Francisco and Silicon Valley area was to take back, use technology to take freedom back, to take privacy back, to take anonymity back. So the very first more important member of this cypherpunk movement, his name was Timothy May. And Timothy May wrote the Crypto Anarchist Manifesto, and the guy was really smart, and he did this in the 90s, and he really presaged or envisioned the coming of cryptocurrency before it actually got here. These guys were all interested in programming, interested in design, interested in philosophy and politics, just an amazing group of people, and it's because of these guys and their vision that we have cryptocurrency today, and its purpose is to undermine governments, undermine central banks, and undermine these sociopaths and bureaucrats who try to steal our money on threat of violence. So that's why we have this revolution right now. That's why we're all here in Miami, and that's why people on a fundamental level care about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. It's just not about speculation and value. It's about changing society on a fundamental level.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's really great. It's powerful stuff.
I actually didn't know that the cyperpunx, they were that was the name of that group.
That's
they were
right.
Just like, you know, like hackers and
That's right.
but they saw what this could potentially do and change the modern money mechanics.
Yeah.
They were able to see it.
That's right.
As far as long-term vision of you know, like I was just talking to Jamie, that you know, we are the collateral, we pay taxes to pay an old debt to the kings and queens across the Atlantic, I said, but long-term, as far as cryptocurrency being the currency of the people of the world, how does that debt get paid and so on? I mean, is that a valid question? I guess I'm kind of like trying to, you know, of course, is a dollar going to stay, or can the dollar completely disappear?
Yes, yeah, that's a question that's really good, makes sense. Yeah.
Okay,
so because a fiat dollar is basically like a form of debt created and minted by the central bank. So yes, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people in the cryptocurrency space will agree with this, the whole purpose of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin was to make fiat currency irrelevant, right? And especially fiat currency as it's used in its digital format, right? Through credit cards, through Visa, MasterCard, Discover, etc. So those forms of currencies have problems. Besides the governmental problem, let me just name a few. So Bitcoin is what we call a push system versus fiat currency, which is a pull system. So here's the difference. With fiat currency being a pull system, if you have a credit card account with dollars in it, somebody can pull money from out of that account, like a bank can pull money out of that account without your permission, right? Bitcoin, on the other hand, is permissionless in this sense. You only choose how that money gets transferred. You push money from out of that wallet. This is the difference between a push push monetary system and a pull monetary system. So Bitcoin, you just push money out from your wallet. Nobody can take it out, right? Nobody can take money out of that wallet.
And then the pull system again is?
Yeah, pull system is what MasterCard, what Visa, what banking is. Pull systems are where these institutions control accounts of individuals. They can take money from people's accounts whenever they want. That's a pull system. So you pull money out of accounts. That's right.
Got it. I got that. I finally got what it was. All right, cool.
Yeah, that's it. That's a really important thing. I know that's confusing for people, but all it means is that with cryptocurrency, we're in control of our money in its entirety. With fiat systems, we have to trust all of these other people. That's sort of the main thing that I kind of want to rant on about this topic that we're having right now, and why this technology is so amazing, and why it's already generated this much hype, this much adoration, and this much awesomeness.
I can see the passion.
I love it.
Right from the heart center. It's amazing. I mean, I'm like getting all. I mean, I'm very excited already. But again, just being brand new and just beginning to absorb this information. What else can we do for the world to simplify this, to get more people involved? Obviously, getting more people involved is important because it will not work without more people getting involved. Correct?
Right.
You know, what are some of your concerns? Tell me a little bit about some of your concerns, if you have any, about what's happening in the crypto space.
Yeah, so I do have concerns, and I especially sort of address your point about concerns about usability of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is still in the first inning. This is still just the beginning of this revolution. Even though it looks like we're growing, we have a lot more growth that has to happen. So what my concern is usability of different cryptocurrency interfaces or programs. It's what we call UX, or user experience. If users don't have good experiences using the programs that are difficult to use, then that really limits a good portion of users. That makes it more difficult for people to get involved in the space and sort of learn about cryptocurrency. So we have to continue developing out the infrastructure and the tools that we're using to access cryptocurrencies in the digital world. Because if we don't, it just keeps people from getting involved, and that's a big problem. Luckily, there are a lot of, for instance, Bitcoin, for example, has a good decade now, right at about a decade of existence. So it's the only cryptocurrency who's really developed out an infrastructure that is usable. But even Bitcoin, for some people, is still hard to wrap their mind around, and when they use it, it sort of confuses them. So this is an issue that we've got to continue to address in the space. And also, another thing that we have to do, and this is very important, I won't dive into it because it's a long talk, we've got to learn how to scale blockchains to where more people can also use it. Because if you don't scale blockchains properly, you have high fees when you send Bitcoin, which is what's going on in the space right now, and you have long confirmation time. So not only if I send money to you, it's got a high fee, but it takes forever for you to actually receive a confirmation of that transaction. So what we've done to kind of fix that is in the space we've actually forked Bitcoin, and we've created a new token called Bitcoin Cash, which is what we promote. And we promote it because it has 8 megabytes of block size. And just to simplify this for people, a block on a blockchain is simply like a database that holds information on a transaction, right? And once this database, this block, gets filled up with information, then if more people are putting transactions in the system and it's full, then those people are essentially, they have their transaction just sort of in a no man's land, waiting to be approved by miners to get put in. And that's why it takes so long. With Bitcoin Cash, we've expanded that database, that block size, from 1 megabytes to 8 megabytes to make it more usable by the masses of people. Because we want cryptocurrency to literally be cash. We don't want it all to be a store of value. It can be a store of value, and it should be, but first it has to work as peer-to-peer decentralized cash so everybody can take advantage of it. And that's what the person or group of individuals who created Bitcoin meant for Bitcoin. And this person, by the way, their name is Satoshi Nakamoto. Nobody knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is, so there's sort of this airy mythological legend that sits behind Bitcoin. Nobody knows who created it. It's likely a group, but they meant for it to be decentralized peer-to-peer currency. And at Bitcoin.com, that's the vision that we signed up for, and that's the vision that we support.
Wow. So, I mean, more people using it and not, what are your thoughts on, obviously, because it is a fantastic investment, so a lot of people are investing and holding coins and tokens and whatnot, and they're not really circulating this into the system. Talk a little bit about that as far as, hoarding and waiting for, I guess that term kind of came up, so I'm using it. What's your thoughts on it? I remember asking the CEO of Dash.
Yeah, no worries. So I have mixed feelings on this phenomenon. I think that it's good that people are incentivized to save their money, to hoard it, because we live in a system right now that incentivizes people to spend money, not to have savings, to liquidate. And you can see this in government models, because the United States government is trillions of dollars in debt. So this is the model that society operates on. Let's be in debt constantly. Let's spend constantly. And that has a negative impact on society, because if you owe a debt to somebody, especially if it's in the range of $1 trillion, that makes you a servant or a slave to the people you owe a debt to. So that's not a good situation to be in. So it is good to store and to hold your money, but by the same token, besides being a store of value, you have to learn to spend your money and use it as cash. And we still have to have cryptocurrency being used as cash, but that doesn't negate it as a store of value. There's a book that I recommend people read. It's called A Theory of Money and Credit by Ludwig von Mises, who is an Austrian economist. And he said for something to be a good store of value, it needs to be used as money, as a medium of exchange. So it's really important. But the cool thing is, no matter if we're using it as medium of exchange, which should be the case, we're also going to be learning to have savings and to store it, because we're incentivized to do that. But that doesn't mean don't use it as cash. And another good thing about this is we have a lot of different blockchains and a lot of different coins. Some are going to serve as having use cases for being more of a store of value, and some are going to have use cases for being more of a currency. And that's kind of what we're seeing happen in the space right now. And I'll be curious to see how it all unfolds into the future.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Now, Bitcoin went from being a currency to now a store of value because of those high mining fees, of course, and people don't want to use them to transact. Right? If I buy a cup of coffee, I had $60 for my cup of coffee. and buying it and saving it?
That's an excellent question, because no, it's not worth it. So if something uses its use case, or its usability, right? It uses its use case essentially. You can't use it to buy your cup of coffee, and you can't even use it to move for even larger things. The $20 is a hefty fee. That does not incentivize you to move your money at all. So that makes Bitcoin look more like some of the critics, what they're saying about it being just a bubble or a speculative store of value. If you can't use it for what it's supposed to be used for, well, then it really becomes, its use case becomes questionable, its value prop becomes questionable. So in my opinion, legacy Bitcoin is currently broken because of these super high fees, and that's why I promote Bitcoin Cash, and that's why our company promotes Bitcoin Cash, because it's maintained its use case and usability, and therefore it can also be a strong store of value in the future as well.
Can you explain, just to dumb it down, how did Bitcoin Cash have less fees, or how do you guys create that?
Well,
mining still takes...
Right, well, Bitcoin Cash has less fees. For one, it has a higher, that database I was talking about, a block on the blockchain. When that block is large enough to accommodate all of its users, then that keeps the fees lower, because what happens when blocks get full, the fees get higher because a fee market is created where people are essentially paying to have their transaction put in the blockchain first. That's why the highest amount that you pay, the more likely it is to get put in that chain. So when you have something like Bitcoin Cash where it's larger, more people can use it, it doesn't create that fee market. And a lot of people will say, well, Bitcoin Cash isn't even being used a whole lot, so its network is not as large. And that's true to a degree, but Bitcoin Cash is going very quickly, and there's actually more people using Bitcoin Cash than are using the SegWit addresses of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin Cash is growing, and it will probably continue to grow to overcome Bitcoin if they don't fix Bitcoin legacy and Bitcoin Core's problems.
Can it be fixed?
That's a difficult question. So the Bitcoin Core team has plans to do, instead of scaling on-chain or making those blocks, those databases larger, they want to create second, this gets really technical, it's difficult to explain, but they want to create second layer solutions to fixing the scaling problem. And this means instead of making those blocks bigger, they want to make all these like peripheral side chains or side blocks, or have some type of other network on top of Bitcoin where all the, like they call it a lightning network, where the transactions can take place, and then later on they're settled on the blockchain or the database level. It's called the lightning network, and that's how they want to fix it. But the lightning network just literally came to mainnet, but it hasn't, from what I've seen so far, there hasn't been a great reduction in the fees. That's still been a problem, and it's still theoretical exactly the extent of which lightning network will solve this problem. I have all the faith in the world that they will be able to solve that problem and Bitcoin won't remain broken, but I'm skeptical about how these side chains are going to run and if it will keep the decentralized aspect of Bitcoin intact.
Wow.
It's kind of a big goat rope, and this has been one of the highly politicized aspects of the whole community that we're involved in this debate on how to grow Bitcoin and maintain its decentralization, and then all cryptocurrencies will face this hurdle.
Wow.
Yeah, and to one extent or another. Some have already started working on their own solutions to the problem, and some will succeed and some won't.
So I heard the Ethereum blockchain kind of picked some of that, those issues with the Bitcoin blockchain. Are we going to see more of that? Like someone else is going to go and fix issues in the Ethereum blockchain? The technology is just going to move really fast.
Yeah, so all of these scaling issues are going to be corrected. They're going to be fixed. All technology has had the burden of having to scale. When the internet first came into existence, it did not accommodate millions of people like it does now. It had to grow to accommodate that many people. So it scaled. When Facebook first came into existence, when YouTube first came into existence, they couldn't accommodate hundreds of thousands, millions of users. It wasn't built for that. So as it grew, as these technologies grew, or these platforms grew, they had to scale, so developers and programmers had to solve those problems in order to grow it. So Bitcoin and cryptocurrency being so new faces the same growing pains, except arguably this space is growing a lot faster than other technological platforms have grown, but we're seeing the same kind of growing pains that all technologies go through. Usability and adoption is a huge issue in order to help scale So it'll all be fixed within, in my opinion, within a few years.
I feel like this is fantastic.
It is. It's amazing.
And I want to respect your time. And so, what else are you guys creating on Bitcoin.com as far as educating the world and that kind of thing? I know I just saw Bitcoin.com Academy. How important is education in this space right now when people are trying to teach others to understand it and get involved?
Yeah, so education is extremely important because, like we talked about a minute ago, a lot of people don't understand the roots of cryptocurrency, where it came from, and that's important in every presentation, every keynote that I do. I make sure that people have an understanding of the cypherpunk movement. All that is so important. So we have a sort of a mission statement of where we're headed in this space. So that's one thing. Another thing, education in general about how cryptocurrency works is important because we want more adopters. So if people don't have an understanding of how it works, they're not likely to get involved. It's a lot harder. There's not a lot of, I guess, an impetus on those people's part to get involved. If you don't understand something, why bother with it? All people hear is that it's gaining in value and they want to jump into it because it's gaining value. It's not a good thing to do because a lot of people get scammed in the space. There's a lot of scams going around. Now, our company, we offer a whole smorgasbord of different ways people can learn. One of the newest things we have is if you sign up for our newsletter via our news site, we actually give tips and tricks on how to use Bitcoin cryptocurrency, and also we give basics on understanding mining, understanding how cryptocurrencies and blockchains work on a basic level for everybody. And our news team generally writes all of these articles, like Jamie and those guys. They do a great job putting that out. And like you mentioned, our academy that we have up where you can sign up and go through coursework and learn about cryptocurrency. So that's all we really focus on. That's like our main spiel for Bitcoin.com.
Is the academy, is this free information or subscription based to have access?
Yeah, I'll have to check back on information on the academy, but I think most of it's free, but there may be a charge for some of it. We've updated a lot of information, and I'll have to get back to you on that to make sure that's the case.
Yeah,
but a lot of our information though, like on our news site, it's all free, and our newsletter is free, as far as my knowledge is concerned.
So you guys just want to get this out there.
Correct.
That's amazing. And simplify it. That's where I'm at. It's just simplification, I guess. You just need to do a tremendous job.
I try my best. It's really hard.
Bits and pieces, little by little. We have to be patient with ourselves.
Right.
As far as investing, do you think, where do people go? Do they mine? Do they just put a few dollars here or there for the research?
Right.
What's the best investment strategy when it comes to this? In your house, everyone's got a different strategy.
So, I mean, I'm a traditional long-term style investor. If you invest in this space, you really need to diversify your assets. I think if you put all your eggs in one basket, you're setting yourself up for trouble because these markets are still volatile. It's like a roller coaster ride, especially right now. And a lot of people panic sell, and if you put all your eggs in one basket, it all just goes all the way down to zero. You probably just lost all your money. Of course, this space is also interesting, and like a lot of the cryptocurrencies follow the trend of Bitcoin. Bitcoin's down, everything else is down, but that's never always the case. I've had some of my cryptocurrencies that I own go up quite a bit while Bitcoin is going down. So it's good to sort of hedge your bets in the space, and that's sound investment advice for anything you get into. Diversify, don't keep all your eggs in one basket, do your due diligence, understand what you're investing in, don't get scammed or defrauded. Very important.
What are some of we should talk about it. What are some of the projects that you invest in that you know really have long-term value?
Yeah, sure. So I'll mention one. I don't want to give away all my secrets. I have a consultation business where I provide information on that. But I really recommend anybody looking into the privacy coins, especially Monero. Monero is a great token. I support that. I think it's really good for helping people. It's the cypherpunx dream, right? It's a coin that is not transparent at all. It uses a ring signature technology that basically mixes addresses. When you send it to another person, it's not easy for like a government agent or a banker or whoever to follow that transaction back to the source. So Monero is a good investment. I think the coin at its peak was around $300 or $400. I'd have to look at what it is right now, but it's a great.
Wow, thank you for that. Wow, thank you so much. I could ask questions to you all day. You're very good. Hence, he's the communication ambassador. That's your style. Thank you so much for doing this, and thank you guys for watching. And again, continue to educate yourselves and assist each other. If you know a lot more about it, help someone else out, and be involved. really be involved in this space. This is a fascinating journey that we're witnessing here. So aloha, love and light, everybody. We'll see you in the next one.